The audition for Expiration Date, an American independent film I directed and co-wrote a few years ago. I remember being impressed by how, despite being a typical teen, he valued his family above all, and he wore his native heritage like a badge of honor. He carried his share of 16-year-old angst. When I helped him dig deep and connect the dots of his young character, he absolutely nailed the role. For some inexplicable reason, I became a confidant for romantic advice, and he, in return, brought out the kid in me, as evidenced by one of our devious exploits, dodging park rangers in order to get the perfect sunset shot for the end titles of Expiration Date. We were likely to be in deep conversation one moment and playing a game of slap face the next. He was so lightning fast that he always threw the final slap and claimed, "Got you last." When the film won the equivalent of the American Indian Oscars, Nakota and I traveled to festivals in different corners of the globe, him dancing and me promoting the film. After all, the message of the film was, despite it all, keep dancing. And despite our age difference, we became like brothers, a bond that had been forged even earlier that year when we adopted my daughter Leah, who was 30% Hopi. Nakota's close-knit family became Leah's Hopi family, a relationship we treasure to this day. In fact, I was so blown away by his parents, brother and sisters, that I made an entire film about them called Family Dancing. This led to him joining the 5,000 Days Project, where I did a series of longitudinal interviews as he became an adult and eventually a superstar.
How important is your family to you?
Super important. I would die for each and every one of them. I'd rather not want to see them leave Earth before I did.
Throughout the years, Kota would climb to greater and greater heights with his groundbreaking mix of hip-hop and traditional hoop dancing, bridging the gap between the old world and new. He won successive world championships, became the first Native American to open an entire Cirque du Soleil show, was honored at the Smithsonian, and eventually started the Lightning Boy Foundation, which has inspired an entire generation of young dancers carrying on his unique style. Dancers who cleaned up at the latest World Championships at the Herd Museum in Arizona. Kota loved people.
The biggest thing that's been going on is definitely the worldwide people I meet in this circus.
His charisma came from a unique blend of natural cool, which was countered by his goofy laugh and all-embracing personal warmth. But I also knew that he was never 100% comfortable with the adoration he received. It felt like a barrier to him. He just longed to truly connect with everyone he met. So he treasured his quiet time, where he could sit alone and, yes, dream of flying.
Yeah, I don't want to really be an adult. I want to be young forever, of course. Peter Pan syndrome.
I can only imagine that is what he was doing that day, sitting atop his favorite spot on that bridge near his home. I do know one thing for sure. His spirit never came back to Earth. See you in due time, my friend.